Well, YouTube says we're ready to go live. I've clicked live.
We're live.
See what's going on.
7 seconds in.
We are 7 seconds deep into this live stream, otherwise known as MasterClass or MasterCRINGE episode 3. We haven't done this since we had 2 kids. So we have 3 now. So it's been 7 months because I'm pretty sure she's 7 months old, right?
Yes. One stream for every child we have. Let's see if there's ever another stream.
Yeah, maybe with the fourth baby, well, yeah, we'll have another stream either side at the very least. So we're going to probably jump straight in it today because everyone is here for some masterclasses. They are a funny genre. We've said it 1,000 times. They can be great. They can be hilarious. They can be tragic. They really encapsulate the whole range of human experience, in my opinion. Maybe we could start with just a quick little anecdote. Melissa, when I say masterclass and you think about your past, what do you think of? Like masterclass, Melissa, French horn. What's the first memory you have?
I don't know what you mean by first memory, but
To do with you in a masterclass.
just being absolutely terrified.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Okay.
I thought you were a brave. I thought you were my lion.
No. Aslan Yok.
Aslan, you are not my lion. That's strange. I don't know what I think of with masterclasses. You're supposed to throw the question back at me, Melissa.
What do you think of? What's your first memory of a masterclass?
No idea. Stupid question. Okay, let's move on to watching someone else.
That's called
Yeah.
we'll probably see that type of question in the masterclass where it's
A trap.
a trap question.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, if you have a beverage with you, you should drink it every time you hear a trap question. A classic trap question is like a definition of a musical term.
What does piano mean?
Yeah, what does piano... Well, everyone knows that is a trap question,
Yeah.
don't they, from school, where they say, no, it doesn't mean soft. It means, What does it mean, like flat or something? Like,
Yeah, they'll go with like the emotion of the piece.
or it does have like a meaning in Italian. I think it's not quiet. It means flat. I'm pretty sure it means flat.
Really?
Not pitch flat. I mean like level. That kind of idea.
Okay.
Anyway, let's listen to our first masterclass. Let's see if the scene swapping is working. Alt 4. Are we
Can I
in?
just say this guy looks like Prince Charming, doesn't he? Like the cartoon.
Or Tintin.
Okay.
We should show respect. In general, I want to kind of show maybe a 10-20% more respect in these masterclass master cringes.
disrespectful.
Yeah, well, this guy, whatever. All these,
Compliment.
just let's start off. All these people are legends. They're very accomplished. You know, they've practiced a lot, taught a lot, and they mostly do good. But that doesn't mean they can't commit mockable sins during masterclasses. So this is a weird masterclass because this has no student. This is for back when the YouTube Symphony Orchestra was a thing. So let's have a listen.
Also, with the horns, you need to make sure that you're producing this sort of sound that will blend well. The tessiture of the clarinet and
Beethoven 8.
Yeah, how'd you know? Yeah, Beethoven 8. Well, horns, yeah.
Let's talk about horns.
Melissa plays the horn.
piece is very high, and it's quite easy to stick out. But you don't want to do that. You want to sort of elegantly be the icing on the cake in this trio. Other crucial thing you'll find from your score is the cello line has solid triplets all the way through, right through the whole trio. So you're sort of committed to your tempi. Maybe you can take a little time in one or two corners.
That's a debatable, I don't know, point about with an orchestra. Absolutely, yeah. If someone's playing tight subdivisions and the conductor's there conducting strictly, yeah, you don't really get to play with very much rubato as the soloist. But I remember having a few arguments about that in wind quintet days, because people will just say it as like a logical fact.
Because someone has smaller subdivisions, you don't have the freedom to do what you want. That kind of thing. Yeah.
I think that in a small ensemble, and this is a very small ensemble, isn't it? This is how many people are playing at once? Is it just cello, clarinet, and horn?
2 horns, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually a
Basically.
quintet,
Yeah.
isn't it? And so I know that if I'm playing a moving semiquaver part, I can very easily warp the speed to follow someone's rubato. Really, don't you think? In fact, it's easier if you're playing many notes quickly because you just got more notes to kind of spread your fast and slows across.
Yeah, like it's not
I
like your
actually think it's the opposite. I think it's backwards.
maybe, but also it's like your rubato doesn't have to be followed. Like the cellist doesn't have to move with your rubato in real time. It's like probably within the bar. Obviously, you have to line up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if her quavers of the 6/8. What is it? 3/4. Yeah, yeah. It can be slightly different.
I'm telling you, you should try it one day. You get someone to play a melody with rubato, and you play like an Alberti bass line under them, like do play like a little Alberti bass line. It is very, very easy to follow someone else's rubato. But yeah, he's probably right. If someone's playing strictly, what?
Yeah, I've never heard the term Alberti bass line.
Really? You've never heard? Does this thing on?
Is this thing on? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I've never heard that term.
Okay, well, there you go.
wonder
You should
if
give it a
I'm
go
right.
because it is just a truism that people say in the classical music world. If someone is playing semiquavers under you, you can't play with rubato. And yeah, that's definitely the case if it is a string section, with 40 people there scrubbing. Maybe you should just stay in time. Like, for example, Capriccio Espagnol, just stay in time. There's an entire orchestra there underneath you. And yeah, but in this, I can't disagree. Still a legend. Tintin is still a legend.
Basically, it's got to be fairly strict. So the key to this excerpt, I think, is Beethoven's word dolce, which he uses several times in the clarinet and horn parts, and it means sweetly. And that's very much the key to the character. We don't want to stick out. It's extraordinary writing with huge leaps and stuff, but we have to try and keep them within the character of the piece as a whole.
Such a hand model. What do you think, Mel? Is he getting the gig?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is playing more on the sweet side than the brush side. Like, it's very kind of...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, obviously, if you're on... I think I made a comment on this video a while ago. This is what doing too many orchestral auditions does to you. Like, it kind of messes you up a little bit. Because there's no way he would have played like that in first year university, like back when he was a brave young man, don't you think?
Yeah, like there's something that seems kind of not
Neurotic.
reserved, but yeah, it sounds kind of like, is there like a lot of resistance in the clarinet or something?
Yeah, it happens. This is what I mean by like, if you do enough orchestral auditions where like a mistake is the end of your, like an is end of 6 months of preparation, you just set everything up so that nothing can really break. So really, really hard reads, really close lane mouthpiece. Don't try to play too loud. Don't try to play too soft. Don't do anything.
Nothing was like a disaster, but I feel like none of it was really
Glorious.
Yeah, like all of it was kind of like, yeah, like that wasn't wrong.
And this dude can play gloriously. He's the associate, he's like, the co-principal clarinet of the London Symphony Orchestra. If he wanted to, he could roll like a 1,000-sided dice, like roll it, and it would have one side that had like, little mistake, and he wouldn't roll that dice. Like, he wouldn't do it. He'd be like, no, wait, not in a million years. Even if every other side was like transcendental, perfect, beautiful, make everyone in the audience cry.
Yeah.
You don't make that kind of risk. Yeah, no. It's just, a lot of it is taste. Heads up, which detected video on your stream belongs to someone else. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. Yeah, whatever.
Can we not even do this? That's funny.
Yeah.
So
That was
once
the
you've
end.
opened your score of the Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream, you'll see that the whole scherzo is dominated by the sound of the flutes. And although it's a clarinet excerpt, we really need to play in the character of the flutes. It's particularly important. You get this sort of thing in Mendelssohn's music a lot. Very light,
Pause.
mercurial.
So he's saying that the
quick-
flutes are playing at the same time as this clarinet excerpt. But then he makes the like judgment that therefore you have to try and sound like a flute. Couldn't you come to the opposite conclusion? Therefore you have to try and like separate your sound from the flutes to really
So many like just sentence. Maybe that's what this stream is actually about. It's just about pointing out the stock formulaic sentences of masterclasses and just like actually questioning them, because they never get questioned in real time, do they? The student never says, oh, maybe when Mendelssohn wrote this, wind opening for flutes and clarinets, he was actually hoping, like he didn't say, I want 4 flutes. He said he wanted 2 clarinets and 2 flutes. Maybe Mendelssohn actually wanted a bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
But see, it works both ways. You can say it his way as well. What it is it's not a closed logical
it's
circuit.
not right or wrong. It's obviously just a opinion. Yeah.
Scherzos and quick movements. So the important thing about this, although we can get bogged down with the technical difficulties, the fast tonguing and fast fingers, the important thing is to get the character of the music right. It's very light. It tends to be easy to play this very impressively, but maybe in a too virtuoso fashion, too heavily. So the first thing I would think is to get the sound of the flutes in your ears, and they seem to be able to do this standing on their heads. I would also say the speed of the excerpt is very important. I've often heard people in auditions come in and play it terribly fast. It's not actually a presto, it's just allegro vivace. So to keep a really good tempo
That's just another stock sentence format. I don't disagree. But people just like saying, I'm right because my tempo is correct because Italian grammar.
That's an actual indication, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But like, what does presto mean? Presto isn't a BPM. Presto's a vibe. And allegro vivace is also a vibe.
Is that the actual...
Well, it's called scherzo. I didn't know it said allegro vivace. I don't really know. Obviously, I've seen the excerpt 55,000 times, but I just pick a tempo that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's my vibe.
is just in control and doesn't sound frantic.
I got a clap when I played this last time in an audition.
Really?
Yeah, for Sydney Symphony. Got a clap, which was nice. I really nailed it. I had it was a great scherzo day. It was a stressful audition. Just turned up and stayed. Like they did the auditions for the SSO on the center, like the actual opera house, right there, middle of the main auditorium, and just in front of you. This was for a casual contract or whatever, and there was just the row of all the wind musicians there, and just you alone.
So who clapped?
Sydney Opera House. They all did. I think the clarinets
Okay.
probably started.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a standing ovation.
Yeah,
It was like it was like one of those.
That's
And
very unprofessional.
I nailed it. I had it was just a good scherzo. What can I say?
Frantic is very
And
important.
I'll tell you what I thought of tempo. All I thought of was, what's like a tempo that I can tongue that it won't trip over, that's pretty fast, but not redlining it, so I don't risk slowing down. Like, because you don't want to go. You don't want to like slow down. That's a disaster. So you pick a kind of tempo that's like.
Do you reckon that's enough da-da-da from you?
Yeah.
Do you reckon the reason for his point saying, oh, people often come in and play it too fast, do you think by that he means people come in and play it too fast, but it's only too fast because they can't actually
Maintain
play it like
Yeah.
excellently? Whereas
Yeah.
they wouldn't say that about you if you absolutely nailed a really fast
Yeah.
tempo. They'd be like, cool, that's
If you're
awesome.
like,
Yeah, are you going to complain about that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like that would be great, I suppose. Yeah, people play it too fast. Yeah, what is too? It's too fast if it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason.
Yeah, if you can get the whole section to play it that fast, like I should find the mock-up of that French guy. Anyway, don't worry, carry on.
And will help you with the character. The final thing I'll say about preparing the technique and the difficulties, is that if you think of the phrasing and the sound of the thing, then a lot of these things will fall into place. If you think of every bar being like this,
Preach.
you will get bogged down. But if you think of longer 4 or even 8 bar phrases, it will just help the whole thing settle and have a good feeling about it.
Nice. It's the truncated version of the excerpt.
Oh, okay.
No hemiolas, no trills, no upward scales. But yeah, that was if that was his first take, good job. That sounded great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flawless, no problem. And the advice was great as well. Don't play it too fast.
Yeah.
Don't play it faster than you can.
Too fast for you. Yeah.
I remember back in our stream we did about different clarinet styles. I said the English tend not to play things too fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, he definitely proved me right there.
So for this excerpt, I'll swap to my A clarinet.
What excerpt's it going to be? If it's A
They'd
clarinet.
already said Rimsky-Korsakov, Capricious Face.
Oh, okay.
So the Alborada from Rimsky-Korsakov's Capriccio Espagnol is a very exuberant piece of music.
My favourite thing about Brits is they don't put on a pretentious accent.
Which is
They're proud of their accent because they own the English accent. They own the language. They're allowed to talk in their own accent. The Capriccio Espagnol. Like, you can imagine Australians would put on an accent.
Yeah.
The Alborada. Like,
Yeah.
no, just
We're
talk in
worried
your
that
accent.
We sound like bogans.
Yeah. Yeah, Australians are scared people are going to think we're uncultured because we are.
Yeah. Yeah, Brits don't need to worry about that.
This is big, brash, and it should sound like a lot of fun. The key to playing this excerpt, I think, is to get your trills really sounding dazzling. I think it's easy to play your trills just worrying about moving the finger as fast as you can. And what really makes it sound very virtuosic is if you don't have to move your finger so fast, but just keep the air blowing through, so the ear can really hear both notes. And if you blow through it in that way, I think it'll make it sound really dazzling. The other thing about this excerpt is sometimes we have the main part of the tune, and sometimes we don't, and you need to sort of come in and out a bit with that. When you haven't got the main voice, it's still really important to phrase, even if you've got something really boring, just a series of quavers. You've got to phrase with the tune that's going on. You've got to contribute and be a part of that. So I think in this excerpt, just always have in your ear what the tune is and play, even if you've just got 2 notes, just play them absolutely with conviction. So I want to look at bar 10. This sort of thing comes a lot in the excerpt with a quaver and 2 semis. And when you've got the trill on the quaver, it's really important to not come out of it too late. So you give the semi-quavers lots of time so the ear can really hear them. And then also, if you were playing it in orchestra, you wouldn't be late on the semi-quavers. It's a good thing to show that you know that in the audition. Letter A is suddenly it's been very loud and lots of the orchestra drop out and we're left with the tune. And Rimsky-Korsakov writes con forza. So I think this can be very full, very loud, especially as you've got a bit of competition. We're the only instrument with the tune, but there's horns, bassoons and strings playing underneath, and you've got to cut through that. So it can be very extrovert. Have fun with it.
I want to hear fun. That's eccentric. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use the G sharp key for the trill.
Oh, really?
It's just quite flat, don't you think? What is it? B flat. Almost sounds closer to that.
Meant to be
it's
a
supposed to be a
trill?
tone.
Okay.
Eccentric. They don't do that in Australia.
Okay.
This is what I mean about starting and stopping the airstream, just to make absolutely sure you don't quack or.
Okay.
So this is all just like ha 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 ha, like that kind of articulation, which is I don't know. I find it characteristic of this kind of orchestral clarinet player that's a little bit scared of mistakes. I'm courageous. I'm happy to squeak. I'm happy not to squeak, but it's like scoop. I'm happy to go da 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 da. If there's like a tiny little scoop in there, whatever. I don't care. At least I was relaxed. I'm shocked at the use of that key for that trill. Because you can use the second to top trill key and the B flat, E flat key, and it will be perfectly in tune. You can even use just the second to top trill key is probably in tune on his clarinet. I'll be really curious why.
Is it an easier finger to trill? Like
It's this easier to do it my way.
Oh.
Yeah, the in tune way is easier.
Okay.
Yeah, weird. Da, ba, da, ba. Sorry, being mean. Just a tiny bit late at the end there. But yeah, good. That would be an A+ in an audition, no problems. And not very much cringe, I would say. What do you think? Basically no cringe.
Yeah, no cringe.
Zero cringe, 100% helpful. Not my taste of clarinet playing, but it definitely works. Gets you the gig.
Yeah, he's a pro.
How often do you guys go live? We have someone asking. We last went live 7 months ago, and we haven't. That's such a hurtful question. Why would you ask that question to us? Like we said that at the start of this. We're very sensitive about the fact we don't go live very often, but we're going to keep chopping. We've been spurred on. This is an hour and 58 minutes. How about you skip that one? Move on to 48 minutes. A little bit long. An hour is a little bit long. Let's go 2 hours. Oh wait, I think we've seen this one
2
before.
minutes. Okay.
2 minutes. Carbonare, Rachmaninoff, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's do it. That's the least flattering acoustic for a masterclass I've ever heard.
So dry.
It's playing inside a mattress.
Curtain, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nice.
Got to teach this guy my cheat fingering for getting that C sharp out every single time. Yeah. See that high note there? That doesn't want to come out. It just never, if you try, it's so difficult. And I really commend this cat for actually trying to do a diminuendo up to that C sharp because he knew that had like a 1 in 3 chance of actually working. Courage. More
what's
people.
Your cheat?
Oh, to use, so you overblow an F sharp. So everyone knows sort of the F sharp with the left thumb and bottom 2 trill keys with the right index finger. That works. Everyone also knows that works for a C sharp. But when you're slurring and you don't want it to sound like too tonally weird, you also add your left ring finger to its home key and your left pinky on the C sharp, G sharp key. So you end up playing left thumb, right index finger on the bottom 2 trill keys, left ring finger and left pinky, and that will slur from a C to a C sharp with like even tone really easily every single time. So can recommend. It will get you through this excerpt. It's also good for, what's the other excerpt it's good for? Beethoven 4, the slow movement of Beethoven 4. You end on it, it's not written as a C sharp, it's written as a D flat. Definitely use that fingering, it will change your life. Don't tell anyone though, they'll beat you in an audition. This guy rocks. What do you think?
Yeah. I like his attitude. Should we skip to the master?
Yeah, it's a bit of a lengthy... I actually hate this excerpt in a way. It's so not my personality. This excerpt goes for ages. It's really indulgent. It's really slow. And it just constantly just gets slower and slower and kind of goes backwards. But that's what the music says. This is my audition losing excerpt as well. This is when I got kicked out for the second round, the last audition I ever did in Australia.
It
develops, and this is coming out of the trill, and I think it's. I think the trill can be a little shorter. Okay. And then you can breathe here. I think it's nicer. And try at the beginning. The beginning was good.
I like this kind of masterclass already. Literally just being transparent that this is what I prefer.
Yeah. I like that too. Yeah.
No kind of crazy grammar. No like, oh, it's because it's Allegro vivace, or it's because Stravinsky had 3 girlfriends. This kind of thing, like whatever. It's none of this kind of crazy becauses. Just like, I think it sounds better if you breathe there.
Yep.
Fair.
I agree.
But here maybe, for me, the character here is important. That don't play the long note so straight. It's like ba ba da da. I think it's pa ba ga da, like the beginning almost. You also did a little. Don't go back too much, but don't hold the note like very straight. Yeah, let's try once more at the beginning. Now you can breathe. 2.
This guy doesn't have to breathe. He's on this phrase for like 40 seconds.
Yeah. It's too tall.
This was actually a problem I've had a few times where people keep on saying like, where are you going to breathe, Liam? I'm like, well, I'm a 6'4" dude. I got 10-liter lungs. I don't actually need to breathe, like you mortal. But that's another ethical thing. I was drawing up a course for extended techniques, and I realized I did actually kind of have to have a section in there about tasteful application. And I was in a bit of an ethical. Tell me, Melissa. So the end, I'm playing a ballet at the moment, Giselle, and at the very end of the last movement is just a page of triplets, both clarinets playing sort of pianissimo triplets, going in like minor thirds or whatever it is, for about a minute and a half. And I can circular breathe without making a huge sniffy noise, without dropping in pitch or sagging volume or anything like that. I can circular breathe. The principal clarinetist in this ballet doesn't and can't. And I've done a performance while circular breathing. I can't tell if it's insulting or rude or if it's good. What do you think? So he's also a chain smoker. So when he breathes, he's like, he's not a chain smoker. If you're listening, Ada, you're not a chain smoker. You're just you're like everyone else in Turkey.
I think if your principal doesn't say anything about what you're going to do breathing wise, maybe
it's cool.
Like,
license to
is
sniff.
anybody ever going to ask, please breathe? Like, I think you should say.
Yeah, because we were going to stagger it. We were going to ensure that the breathing was separate anyway. So
well, it's separate because
it's just separate because I'm not doing it at all. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's going to be much great material in here. Right. Emergency marks, simply forget or nervous. That's completely fair. It's one of the only pencil markings that I like are breathing marks. I think they're very useful, and I make them massive. Do you want to read it?
I can't see it.
I have my normal breathing marks, then I have emergency marks for when...
totally.
Yeah. Yes. Forget or nervous.
Yeah.
I used to write on my music back when I was a younger cat at university. Basically in the top left of all of my sheet music, just before I was going to start performing, I wrote it like big like bold pencil, was huge breaths. I would just like write that. So that was the last like 2 thoughts in my head before I like took a breath in to play some sonata. These 2 massive words, huge breaths. And I'd be like, and I just play. Usually worked quite well. It's a very simple little thing to do. Anyone can do it. And I quite liked it. Yeah. Can't hear the breath anyway. Yeah, that's true. We'll take it when you need to. Yeah, the audience can't hear much of the weird junk in your playing. Like I've sat next to some people that have got like real hissy kind of embouches and really percussive key clacks, and they do that weird grunty thing where they go and then they start playing. Like that's a weird tick that clarinet players have. Seriously, by the time that sound's made it out to halfway to the front row, it's all that junk is gone. And you're mostly just left with pitch and tone.
Probably don't hear it. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, you kind of can't get out of your little square meter.
Yeah.
Is that what you got to contribute, Mel?
Yeah.
Just a quick yeah. Man, I'm really hogging the microphone here.
I was going to say, the horn, there's the Strauss Concerto, and it was written by Strauss. But it was like, apparently it was written for his father to play. And so there's all these breath marks because he was like old. And I was just thinking that when the comment says like you have emergency marks as well, all through, like everybody that's ever played the Strauss Horn Concerto, they have every emergency horn breath mark possible because of like that's the original edition. That's just funny.
Yeah, well, good on him. I mean, that's a funny thing to do. I just think I don't breathe as much as most people, and I don't think the music suffers. Yeah, moving on.
2. Go on. Yeah. A little. Yeah, it's good. Take as much time as you need, you know. But it's free. It's a
The whole thing is just a whole bunch of cadenzas, if you ask me. Like everything.
cadenza, so
No,
just
okay.
play that you feel, you know, safe and good with the technique. So that's good. But that's
A little bit harsh. Don't play faster than you can.
That's true.
This is fine. This is another non-cringe masterclass. What is going on?
for me.
Okay,
If you like it.
Because he's young.
But
Yeah, maybe he's young.
Is there a difference? Like, if you've just been clarinet god for 50 years, then
Yeah, well, I suppose Daniel Ottensummer, as great a clarinet player as he is the third most famous Ottensummer clarinetist. So it's
really third.
third. Yeah, so I would say this is pretty harsh. There's this famous sledge in, I don't know if anyone watching follows cricket, but they're the War, so Australian cricketers, WAUGHs, brothers, War and War. Actually, is it Mark War and Steve War? I can never remember.
Yeah.
Steve War, yeah. And apparently, like, Steve Waugh was sledging some batsman for being terrible, being useless on the other team. And this English batsman, you know, quips back, well, at least I'm the best batsman in my family. Very harsh. So I wonder if that sledge has ever happened in this clarinet household. Like, Daniel Ottensummer's telling this guy, you know, oh, you shouldn't play too fast. And then this guy says, well, Daniel, at least I'm the best clarinet player in my family. So harsh.
also not to breathe here and breathe maybe somewhere here, between the before and up it. Also,
Okay.
like, I think it's more natural.
This guy looks slightly out of place in a clarinet masterclass, don't you think?
Why?
I don't know.
He
It's
just
just like
looks so
the
relaxed,
he looks
doesn't
just
he?
so. Yeah, you shouldn't be more uptight.
Yeah, he's so zen.
When you go on here, I think it's important to always have the same style of accent and thing. Sometimes you play it longer and sometimes shorter. I think it should be always the same because
I wouldn't sit down in a masterclass, would you?
I mean, it's however whoever's in charge set it up. It's not like you really decide.
Yeah, I don't think I ever sat down.
But-
I like the power dynamic. I'm quite a tall person. I don't want to like give that up.
Didn't you used to get like taught? Oh, if it's orchestral excerpts, you sit in the chair because that's how it is in an orchestra, and if it's a solo, you stand up. That's how I was kind of taught.
No, I haven't heard that one before, actually.
Oh, really? Okay,
Maybe it's a horn thing.
maybe.
Yeah.
this it's like a sad march, I think, like, you know, and it should be dun, but it should be somehow it's free, but it has to stay in the rhythm and in this character. Let's start once more from da-da-da-da-ding.
This guy needs my fingering bad. He needs intervention quick. Send an EOY to learn clarinet online. Google Forms in my description.
4, 1, 2, 3. That's good. Now a little 1, 2. Very good.
Maybe they should both be
And now a little
sitting
maybe now.
rather than both
Yeah, one.
standing. Well, yeah, they should just be the same, shouldn't they?
It's a little bit weird, isn't it, when you have some guy... Well, that's the masterclass, isn't it? Someone buzzing around your shoulder.
Yeah, there's a power dynamic either way, isn't there?
Man, what a boring excerpt. Sorry, I can't listen to any more of this.
Yeah.
I can't stand this excerpt. I'm glad I've never had to play it in real life.
They seem like two great
Yeah.
people, though.
They're both fine.
Yeah.
This guy's fabulous. I like that he's risking with the dynamics, actually risking
Yeah.
some things.
I feel like he loves clarinet.
Yeah.
I feel like you can tell. Yeah.
You can tell he actually likes to play clarinet. And he's not just risking the legato, he's also risking intonation. Like he's chosen to sneak in at such a soft dynamic that he's like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit sharp at the beginning, but I'm going to have contrast. You know? And that's music, isn't it? A whole lot of value judgments and compromises.
Yeah.
What's the audio like on this?
Wow. Hopefully it's better than the visual.
No, audio's not good enough. What do we have here? MasterClass with David Schifrin. You listen to this as the American style clarinetist. All right. What do you think? Warm up or music?
I was just about to say, what is this? I don't know what it is.
What do you think?
I thought by his posture he must have been warming up, and then he kept going. And I thought, wait, is he playing? So what is it?
Well, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with that. He's actually performing right now.
No, he's warming up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's fine. I've never done a long sound check on stage.
Yeah, no.
No, I think for the majority of performances I've done in my whole life, I've played one note, and that's just the tuning note.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't believe in pre-concert cadenzas.
Good. Are you ready?
So that doesn't count as cringe at all. That's just master fun. That's not
funny. Do you reckon he was making a joke? Are you
totally,
ready?
totally. People, clarinet players take themselves so seriously.
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah.
I don't think he appreciated that at all.
Or
He's
it
like,
didn't just.
respect my art.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk more about the piece later. Why don't we just get right into the playing?
What's your assessment, Mel?
I just tried to ask. I've always been confused. Is it da 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 da, or is it da 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 da?
Da 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 da. Wow, I really can't sing this. Da 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 da. It's double da 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 da.
Right.
Yeah, it's double dotted.
Well, I want people to be more consistent with it.
Yeah, well,
more
I think
obvious.
ever since Martin first recorded it and just played the whole opening as just totally free, completely all over the place, people have been like, well, Martin did it. Crazy.
Yeah.
I think before that Martin first recording, I feel like people were far more literal with the rhythm. Yeah, I think people shouldn't play this piece of music in public unless they've done just serious scales. Like a retreat, a 1 year retreat of scales. I tried to play this piece of music in public before I had done my 1 year retreat of scales. It's just not worth it. It's too hard.
Do you have a recording of the pre?
No, I do have a year 10 recording. Maybe I could find it while you say something genial.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Liam.
Yeah, it's whatever. This is nice. This nice little section here. I don't know why this is being played all the way through in a masterclass, I've got to say. Well, this is already a little bit different, I suppose, to the many masterclasses where you play about you play the Mozart concerto, you play 8 bars, and then the maestro spends about an hour and a half just on the first 3 notes or something.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that you never know what you're going to get with a masterclass, like whether it's going to be, play the whole movement and then I'll comment, or play 3 notes and then I'll comment.
Yeah, it's psychologically pretty weird to stand there on stage thinking I could get interrupted at any time, because that's not normally the case in classical music. And I always thought that was one of the best reframes. If anyone out there, for the 3 current viewers apparently, is struggling with like performance anxiety, I think a really good reframe is that you are in like this position of immense power and control and privilege, and everyone else just has to sit. They are socially, their hands are tied behind their back. They have to sit there politely and silently and just ingest whatever you serve them. Like you could do anything and they have to sit there. Like
they're not going to start booing in the middle of your performance. Like it's not going to happen.
If anything, there's like immense social pressure on them to like behave. So it's like you probably, like you don't need to be too concerned, because you could get away with musical murder and nothing will happen at all in the moment. Like I think that's kind of just a nice little reframe for people. You're the one you might feel like you're the one under a microscope, and in a way you are, but you're also much more like the scientist driving the microscope. I hate that condenser.
Nice to hear you in person. So, I had a chance now to hear your very impressive abilities on the clarinet.
This guy has got my curse of the sarcastic voice, don't you think? Like,
Hear your very impressive abilities on the clarinet. You really get around the instrument beautifully. And we can talk a little bit about sound and phrasing if for right now. And this opening, I think there are some clues that you could pay more attention to. Just the fact that he writes in cut time and not in 4/4, so that you don't have to have such strong beats throughout the bar, but more of a deep.
I got the sneaking suspicion this is not going to be a cringy masterclass either.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another great just comment in general. Like, I feel like you get hammered so hard in university and high school, for that matter, with subdivision. Don't you think? Like, that is...
Yeah.
Like, you are just told, subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. If you don't subdivide, you're a bad person. If you don't subdivide, you're, morally questionable character.
But then you have the problem of like playing every beat because you're subdividing, and then you get told play bigger phrases. So it's hard.
You're a horn player, so you can't subdivide like and play off beats all day. Like it's much easier to go
I think everyone starts with small units.
It's easy to group it into a bar, much easier than going bop 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 bop. You just
But
get
don't
slow.
you think, like when you're the first time you've ever learnt to do off beats, you are doing every one in the beat, and then as you get better, you can group it bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I do. I think that both skills are really, really useful. I just think that subdivision gets too much, a little bit too much airtime when grouping is so important. I think one of the coolest exercises you can do is set the metronome to 1 beat per bar and play along to the metronome that way.
Yeah.
And sort of like cut that umbilical cord a little bit.
Yeah.
Even 1 to the bar would help with the trajectory. It would be easier to hear
Spoke
if
too
we
soon.
had the piano part. But the phrases...
Yeah, it's never when there's no pianist to bully, because that's when the masterclass can go really off the rails, when like the masterclass maestro starts talking to the pianist. Don't you think?
They should be off limits. They should have like a protective glass around them. Like I'm not
A
part of
velvet
this.
rope.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk to the pianist.
pretty...
We got a question. What is subdividing and why is it different from keeping rhythm? I don't play in school just for fun. Can you want to try explaining subdividing? No. Everyone listens. You look more like a teacher than me. I look more like a criminal. You can...
I don't know. What would I suppose like if you got a 4/4 bar, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you got on a subdivide, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you've got those like divisions within the beat running through your head. You're making the beats even smaller, I guess.
And to what end? What's the purpose? What's the payoff for doing all that extra work, doubling your mental workload?
Doubling the mental workload is doubling the accuracy, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
then you can't fall outside. Like, your rhythm is going to fall outside much smaller margins within your playing if you've got the subdivision running through your head. Do you agree?
yeah, I do. I think I'm on your side. I believe subdividing is good. I don't actually know why it works, though. I'm actually curious why it works, because if you think about it, like, imagine you had to, like, measure a piece of wood. If you tried to, like, measure it as 100 centimeters and marking every centimeter, those errors would add up. And by the time you measured 100 individual centimeters, you would actually have
But then
a
that's
less
the
accurate
equivalent of if you're playing like a tied semi-breve of 2 bars. If you're
Yeah,
That's what you're
counting
saying.
demi-semi.
Yeah, so I'd say if you've got a tied semi-breve, a 2-bar note, long note, you don't need to subdivide that, do you? You don't need to.
Counting off beats is good. I'm not actually sure why it works, but if you have a rhythm like da bum 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 bum, and you're thinking like in your head is kind of a crazy voice going bum 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 bum. You will be more accurate, and I think you could probably test that, and that's cool. That Carl Leister masterclass do a lot of piano harassing. Totally. Gluten Granny. What do you think?
Yes, that is like the infamous masterclass. That one is so cringy.
I think the first word of that masterclass was Carl Leister walking up to the pianist and saying, "Do you speak English?"
So embarrassing. I don't even want to think about it.
That's got to be, that's almost up there. The other, I put that in my top 5 or 6 just incredibly hilarious / cringy masterclass moments. My other one, I've said this 1,000 times, probably my number one favorite masterclass moment was when Benjamin Zander, maybe I'll go, let's do this. I'm going to tell this story, we're going to do it in full screen. So when Benjamin Zander is taking a masterclass, I don't know what the music instrument was, let's say it was a cello, and he's playing something, he's playing the Arpeggione sonata, let's say, and then Benjamin Zander stops the student halfway through, like a phrase or whatever, just to make this point. He was trying to tell the student that he was playing well. And to make that point, Benjamin Zander just pointed to this poor woman in the audience and said, look at this stupid woman. She doesn't know a thing about music, and she is so moved by your playing. And then the camera just like pans it on this woman. This woman's like, what? Like, how is Zander so confident? How did he know she wasn't a professor?
Yeah. And like, what are the chances someone that's sitting in the audience at a music masterclass, like, they probably know a few things about music. They're probably in the world of music.
Yeah. I can't get over how funny it is. That's still funny today. Yeah. Look at this moron.
Okay. Well, he didn't say that.
He didn't say look at this moron. He said, like, look at this woman. She doesn't know the first thing about music.
And she's moved.
She's just so touched by your playing. All right. I feel like we should be watching that masterclass.
Clearly constructed with direction
Put it back on.
to the 3rd bar of the 4-bar phrase, kind of ding da dum ya dum da dum dee da 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 dee da dum, and then the end of the 4th bar is
Yeah, we really came a long way from subdividing there. The end of that point was, subdividing is great, but what David Schifrin is talking about is grouping, which is the opposite of subdividing. That's where you have a big melody like da 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 ba da ba da 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 ba da ba da ba da ba da. Like, if you can block it and chunk it, that's also a useful skill. That's also good to practice that way.
Phrases.
Because it becomes, then rhythmic accuracy becomes your problem, your responsibility.
going to the next phrase.
Skip.
Who's David Schifrin?
He's a very good American clarinet player. He's probably not recording or performing much anymore.
Yeah. He can still play, which is nice.
Yeah,
It
it is
sounds
nice.
great.
Yeah, credibility.
Yeah. So now just think the phrase and play one note. Get a really good breath. Look at the music, but just play the G. Paint that sound picture with what you do with the wind. Keep it moving, but just play one note. Make sure you get a good breath first.
What did you hear?
I think there was a slight crescendo, decrescendo.
It's a tiny little undulation. It is.
Do you think it's helpful though to do?
Yeah, what David Schifrin said, I've never heard that trick in my life, but I think it's good. I'll use that. I won't use it on my own playing because I already play great, but I might use it on some of my students. What? I'm joking. That's me. That was me joking.
What do you think it does? How do you think it's helpful?
It's just deleting a variable.
Yeah.
Like, I think this guy's brain is very much stuck, because I said that at the very start. I think his mind is very much in the scales and the notes. And there's a lot of like F sharp major scale in
You want
this
it
really
simplified,
fast. Like
yeah.
dagga, 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 is in F sharp. That's a very hard scale. I think that's taking up most of his mind, and David Schifrin knows that and realizes that and says, okay, let's take away the notes
Yeah.
and just play the G with the phrasing. So keep the time. So he's reduced the variables to time and volume.
Hardly. Oh, I
Do you
guess the
think?
time is there.
Yeah, the
You
time's
don't know
there.
it's there.
Yeah. And volume, I like
Yeah.
that. I think deleting variables is a very scientific way
Yeah.
to isolate things.
That's the idea. Now even more. Exaggerate.
Yeah, you can hear that. He did the two. Da, da, you could hear
Yeah.
that.
It's just, I don't know. I really do think that people make bad decisions with hardware as well. This is just, that's the sound of a rock hard reed on a very closed lay mouthpiece, and it just sounds like no dynamics. And yeah, it's another just reality that whatever you think you're doing, you need to pantomime it. You need to
Yeah.
go way, way, way overboard. Melissa found that out with like recording, didn't you? Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. You think you're doing all this stuff, and then you listen back, and you're like, it's flat. Like it's deadlining. Yeah.
You think you're playing with huge accents and massive dynamics, you're probably not.
Try to keep the airstream moving while you do it. And as you get a little louder and more intense, put more air through the instrument, but always keep the air moving quickly. You know, it's like a violinist's bow. If it slows down, the quality of the sound changes. So keep it moving, keep the pressure even, and then start with that. So then everything else is layered on top of that. That's the foundation of the phrase you're making. Good breath, and that same long tone again.
I want to see if he does a good breath. I just don't know. I feel like most people don't breathe in enough when they play clarinet, and it causes all these problems, causes intonation problems, legato problems, just everything, dynamic problems, just everything sort of falls apart, and it could just be fixed by try it again with twice as much air. And then you say that once, the student will do like absolutely nothing. They won't change anything. You'll make it like abundantly clear, like try it again with 10 times as much air. They will do nothing. And then you'll just try like whatever you can. Like say you're about to dive to the bottom of a 10-meter pool and collect an anvil, and then kick your legs as hard as you can to drag that anvil up. Like how much air would you take in to do that?
I think it'd be a bit different.
Like, but yeah, and then they might actually change. Like eventually you'll say it in a way and they'll be like, okay, take in air. Like I say, what are some of the things I've said to my students? I've said like stealing air from an enemy next to you. Like
Get it all.
try to suffocate the person next to you that you don't like. Or like reduce the air pressure in the room, like create a vacuum. Like you've just got to breathe in more and everything will be better.
Okay, now try to make that same air stream shape, intensity, volume, and move your fingers to make the notes of the phrase.
Yeah, everyone makes that sort of phrasing mistake. They go da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba and slams the second beat instead of da 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 second beat da 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 second beat. Everyone
Okay.
and it does sound a bit weird. It doesn't work with the chonkin piano either. That's just how clarinet works. If you ever get a chance, people should play that whole clarinet just into even like just a microphone and just notice how different volumes are of different notes on your clarinet.
As in look at the waveform.
Yeah, look at
afterwards,
the waveform and see like, oh, that note was like this, and then you have the same airstream. Then the next note is 6 decibels louder. And if you know anything about decibels, 6 decibels is a quadrupling of sound pressure. Yeah, a doubling and a doubling again. So it's 4 times louder. It's not 4 times. It doesn't sound 4 times louder, but your actual sound, like your energy of a note, is 4 times louder. And you think you're playing with like legato. Yeah, it's a disheartening reality that one note you can just change by a semitone and you can halve your volume, even though everything else is staying the same. Your air and embouchure, everything's the same.
The G's not as important, I think. You do phrase like that. You like that, then what happens is you're opening everything up and you air moving so that there's no hesitation between notes.
It sounds like this was a big breathing masterclass, which I'm happy for. This one looks like it's not going to be in English.
Alors aujourd'hui, on va travailler sur les 3 pièces.
Next.
Do you reckon we can do it?
Alors on va le corriger.
No.
Gives you this.
Oh, Charlie Nidick. Love this guy.
Great. And then what he does here, he gives you this. And then, ooh, I can do them both.
Did I tell you about that grunt that people have by mistake where their like throat goes before they start playing? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I can do them both.
I don't know, but I've heard it a lot with flute players actually. Like, and this is just extremely like the worst case scenario for microphone. I'm pretty sure that's it there. Like,
And then, oh, I can go on. That way. This actually.
oh, I wonder what happened here.
How he got to the piano.
Yeah.
Transforms into that way. So just a refined version of the same thing. And of course that actually comes from here.
Has he pushed the piano
Does it?
stop us?
I think so. But yeah, it is just an interval.
Comes from that. It's all related. It also, I don't know why, but it reminds me of, I think it's kind of what I would say, old home week or something, or, the 50th reunion. Yep, those were good days back in the, whenever.
That was a
guy's a
classic, classic masterclass face right there. Like screenshot that and meme it. Like, whatever, old timer.
Whenever.
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave. Love Charlie. If you ever get a chance to listen to the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra and him playing the Rossini variations, man, it's one of the best clarinet recordings ever.
Especially this part here, where with this very special D flat, which is such an important note in this piece. That way. Oh, let's see. Whoa, I open the mouth as if I'm a singer, which hopefully I am, at least on the clarinet. That's which gives resonance. Otherwise, that's a. You see, and the A flat, as on the clarinet, especially can have a kind of closed feeling. You have to add resonance to the note by going kind of yeah.
He's obviously had like a real midlife change of clarinet playing style. Oh, really? Yeah, he doesn't sound anything like. I like the way he plays here. I'm sure a lot of people are like, "What happened to Charlie? Like, he doesn't sound the way he used to." He's kind of just changed his vibe. Way more sort of free and elegant.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I go, yeah. I sort of pretend.
Do you agree with
I
his
see
vowel
them really
talk?
well.
Yeah, I think if you think of something and it works, absolutely, go with it. But I don't consciously change my vowel shape ever on clarinet for any note at any dynamic.
Do you think one vowel works for you?
Yeah, one vowel, E.
Which
I mean, David Thomas, my old clarinet teacher, he actually emailed a mouthpiece maker and asked, do you have some kind of like oral cavity in mind when you're making a mouthpiece? And the mouthpiece maker said, yes, I think And that's what, because he's a maker, someone who makes mouthpieces and plays clarinet in some orchestra in San Francisco. I can't remember which, but he's like a maker of clarinet mouthpieces. And you want to have some kind of constant. And so he does that, and his vowel is For mine, it's E, but whatever, will do the job. I do think that it's, I don't know, like, I think set and forget, again, in the topic of variables, if you can set and forget
Yeah.
something, just set and forget it. Like, you don't want to be...
It's better to not always have to have that on the list of things to think about as well.
There's quite a lot of stuff to tweak. That was it. Once again, no cringe. What is going on here? Do we have anything?
Some notes speak, some notes.
This guy's too even keel. This is the best masterclass right here.
We've been going in there.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
It's so disappointing.
Our 2-year-old daughter was yelling viola like this. Viola! Viola! All right, it's been an hour, everyone. That was fun. There was almost no cringe, I have to say. Sorry. Well, Lottie, what is this? This is the symphony that starts with a viola solo. Yeah, this starts with a viola soli. It's definitely going to get copyright, destroy the channel. It's just, I think, 5. The Allegro ma non troppo starts. 8, you think?
8.
Maybe it's 8. It's the ma non troppo. I don't know that much. Anyway, but it's just funny that that's viola. It starts with a big section viola thing. The only proper response to a viola. Absolutely great. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to do Masterclass and Master Cringe. When should we do it? In a week? Episode 4?
Okay.
Yep, come back. Episode 4. Episode 4, same bat time, same bat channel, but yeah, no, we're at 7 days this time, not 7 months. Right on?
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the comments. A lot of